Alright, what's up everybody? So, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down my vocal chain and explain how I get my audio to sound the way that it does going into my DAW, and then I'm going to explain a little bit about the gear that I use in my vocal chain. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. If I were to ask you what preamp do you think I'm using, most of you would probably say the Avalon 737. It's my favorite preamp of all time. You guys already know how much I adore that preamp, and it's also one of the most expensive industry standard preamps out there. So I would be using that preamp, right? Well, not exactly. As of recently, I've actually been opting out of using the Avalon 737 and switching over to a $600 Neve style preamp. The preamp that I've been using as of recently is the Heritage Audio HA73 Elite Series. Look, I don't want to get too in depth on the HA73 considering I already have a video on that preamp on this channel already. However, the one thing that I want to mention is that this is one of, if not the best steals right now on the market in terms of value that I have seen for a preamp, especially a preamp that is sub $1,000. This thing only cost me 600 bucks, and it's so good to the point that I have actually been opting out of using my Avalon 737 and have been using this Heritage Audio Neve style preamp instead. Needless to say, I am very impressed with this preamp. It sounds amazing straight out of box, and I find myself having to do very little editing with my audio once it has been recorded into my DAW. So everything that is recorded in this vocal booth goes from the TLM 103 to the HA73 and then into my ID22 where it is recorded in Studio One. After my audio has been recorded, the next step in my chain is compression, and this compressor I'm about to mention is absolutely mind-blowing. It is one of, if not the best compressors right now on the market, and if you do not have this compressor, I would strongly encourage you to take a look into this thing because I can assure you this thing makes a big difference with your recordings. So the compressor that I use is the Clark Technic KT2A. What I do is I set my outputs in my DAW, I send the audio from the DAW into the KT2A, and then out from the KT2A back into my DAW on a separate channel where the audio from the KT2A is then recorded. Now look, I understand this might sound confusing if this is all new to you, but trust me, it is very, very simple. I actually plan on making a video showing you how I use my DAW to process my audio with my outboard gear. So if you are interested in that, please stay tuned and subscribe so that you can be caught up for when I do release that video. Anyway, once I send the audio out from my DAW and then into my KT2A, I usually apply a very light amount of compression considering that the KT2A is a LA2A style clone. I find that 2 to 3 decibels of gain reduction is perfect for what I do. Now the reason why I use my outboard gear rather than my plugins is that I find the outboard gear just gives you this sound that cannot be replicated with the plugins. Don't get me wrong, the plugins do a great job, but I feel like the outboard gear just takes it to another level. Not to mention, inside the KT2A there are tubes inside of it, so you are passing your audio through the tubes, which is going to give it this very full, warm tone that honestly plugins really cannot replicate. Again, plugins are not bad, but they just cannot replicate it the way that a actual physical hardware can. And that is my vocal chain. It is very, very simple, but that's exactly the way that I like it. I believe in less is more, and I just want my audio to sound as natural as I possibly can. And I find that just tweaking it as much as you can is definitely going to steer you away from the more natural tone that you could get by using less plugins and less hardware. So I prefer to just use my preamp, run that into my DAW, and then out from my DAW into my compressor, and then back from my compressor into my DAW. I know it sounds very confusing, but just hang in there with me. Once that audio is all in my computer, from there I'll just do a little bit of subtractive EQ, maybe a high shelf around 8 to 9K just to add some brightness to the audio, and that's really about it. Maybe a little bit more compression if I feel it needs it, but most of the time that's about it. I'll just leave it there, and I'm very happy with the quality that I end up getting. A lot of people have complimented these videos and said that the audio sounds great and have asked me what my vocal chain is like, so I figured I would make this video and show you guys once and for all how I get the quality that I get for these videos and for my music. I do want to mention that I have a very big change coming to this vocal chain setup soon. However, I do not want to spoil the surprise, so you all will have to stay tuned and wait for that video to drop, because I'm telling you, it is going to be a crazy addition to this vocal chain setup. Anyways, guys, that about wraps it up. Now you know how I get my audio for these YouTube videos and in my music. So let me know in the comment section what you think of the audio. And until then, guys, I will see you all in my next video. So peace out, everybody.